Hey guys, today we are going to be talking about different ways that you can sneak protein into your snacks and meals throughout the day. I have a lot of people, a lot of nutrition clients and friends even that come to me and ask me like how they can get more protein without feeling so full or without eating too much more than they already are. So I want to go through just a couple of my favorite ways that you can sneak it in without really having to eat too much more. I'm going to show you some of my favorite snacks and just different things that you can supplement throughout your day to have more protein. So protein is essential to have in our diet. There's a ton of foods out there with protein as the primary macronutrient, but I also want you guys to be mindful of the other macronutrients when we are choosing our proteins. So with that being said, I'm going to show you some examples of what I mean, but when you look at a nutrition label, you're going to see, of course, all of the ingredients and nutrition and what it's made up of. Where you see the word protein, you can see how much is in that food in grams or ounces per serving. So like I said, I'll show you what I'm talking about. But there's also the carbohydrates and the fat portion that is in that serving or whatever's in that food that you're eating. So I want you guys to be mindful of that. Now we know, hopefully, that protein is the building block of our muscles, and it also is essential to growth and repair of our muscles. So if you're working out, have a strenuous job, you definitely need to be hitting your protein goals, which you can find that from your nutrition coach. You can also go on Google. There's a macro calculator. It's very basic, but rule of thumb is 1 gram of protein per pound of your goal body weight. So for example, if your goal body weight was 150 pounds, rule of thumb, kind of general number would be to have 150 grams of protein per day. Now that is very general. Like I said, protein goals are specific to your age, your sex, your weight, your personal goals, your personal activity level. So really think about talking to a nutrition coach, a dietitian, or just finding more specific answers for you personally if you're really interested in finding the correct number for you. So let's go ahead and get into it. I'm going to show you guys some foods and supplements that have primarily protein as the main macronutrient so that you can have your goals met for protein, hopefully at the end of each day. Let's talk about a couple of different ways that you can sneak some protein in throughout the day. So Greek yogurt, that is a really great example, great way to sneak protein in. So Greek yogurt is great because it basically is just protein for 3/4 cup. There's 9 grams of carbs, 0 grams of fat, and then 16 grams of protein. So that's pretty awesome. Greek yogurt pairs well for breakfast, lunch, a snack. It's easy to digest, doesn't sit too heavy. So if you're about to work out, this would be a great option to have. Another thing about plain Greek yogurt. So sometimes I do like to get the flavored kind, just dependent on what you like. Some of it's a little bit sweeter with like the berry flavors. I like the strawberry flavor myself personally. But if you do have plain, you can use it as a topping on different meals. So for example, for dinner the other night, we had taco bowls. So instead of using something like sour cream, which might have a little bit more fat content in it, we went with Greek yogurt. Honestly, it doesn't taste different to me. And then if you think it does, I would just encourage you to stick with it a couple more times. I guarantee you'll get used to the taste. It's not that much different. And you get more protein. Next up, it's a love-hate relationship for some people. but I love it. It's cottage cheese. You can pair cottage cheese with lots of different things. And it's like trending right now. You can basically look up so many recipes. I've seen people mix cottage cheese with like taco seasoning, like a taco seasoning packet, and it makes a great dip. I've just seen people do so many different, I've seen people make ice cream with it. I haven't tried that yet, so I cannot report on that, but I just love when peaches are in season. Peaches, honey, cottage cheese, great pre or post-workout snack. And also for half of a cup, this has 13 grams of protein. So I usually find myself having at least a cup of a time of cottage cheese, or at a time of cottage cheese, and I'll get 26 grams of protein right there. So we have protein powders. Protein powders are a supplement. And so what I mean by that is if you cannot necessarily meet your protein goals by eating food, like actual whole foods, let's say like lean protein sources like chicken, shrimp, steak, things like that, you can always use a supplement like protein powders. So 2 different kinds that I take when I can't necessarily meet my protein goals by real food. Whey protein. So whey protein is going to be your faster digesting protein. And then we also have casein protein. Casein is a slow digesting protein. I recommend taking it before bed or before you're gonna work out, just because it sits a little bit heavier, and like I said, it's slower to digest, so it's great right before bed. Okay, so now let's dig into the details of the nutrition label and your protein content per serving of whatever you're about to have. So we're gonna take peanut butter as an example because everybody loves peanut butter, and a lot of people truly think that peanut butter is a primary source of protein. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it's not. Yes, for 2 tablespoons, it does have 7 grams of protein. Depending on the brand, there might even be more. So we'll just say 7 to 10 grams per 2 tablespoons, which yeah, that is great. But there's also 16 grams of fat in just those 2 tablespoons. Now let's think about it. Are you truly measuring out your peanut butter each and every time you have it? That's a question to ask yourself and be honest, because at the end of the day, you want to be right, dead on or as close as possible to the macronutrients that you're having. So peanut butter, 7 grams of protein, but 16 grams of fat per those 2 tablespoons. Now let's take something like, I have frozen chicken tenderloins right here. This is just something I love to keep on hand because you can make many, many different meals with just chicken tenderloins. So for 4 ounces of these chicken tenderloins, it has 22 grams of protein and 0.5 grams of fat. So that's what I'm talking about with the protein portion or serving. Protein amount that you get in this chicken compared to the fat content, it's primarily protein. So that's what we're looking for basically when we're trying to meet our protein goals. Just be mindful of that. And it is okay to have things with higher fat, but like I said, just be mindful of it. You can log your food and then see where you are at the end of the day so that you are as close as possible to your goal numbers. All right, so we've gone over the supplements, the protein powders. We've gone over how lean meat has so much protein in it. One more thing we're gonna talk about is how you can cook in something that can pack on a lot of protein to your meal or whatever you're having. So broth, beef broth, chicken broth, whatever you like to use or whatever you like the flavor best of. 1 cup of this adds 10 grams of protein, and it honestly has really good flavor. So let's just say, for example, you're cooking rice. Rice uses water. Instead of using that plain water, you can use beef broth. It actually gives a really good flavoring to the rice, and there you go, you're adding protein to it. You could add it in like soups. Let's say you cook meat or something in the crock pot. Instead of using just plain water, try adding a beef or a chicken broth. All right, you guys, so that's all I have for you today on different ways that I like to sneak protein in to my diet, to my meals, to my snacks every single day. Your goals are specific to you. I say it all the time, but please don't go off of just what I say. Trial and error. Do what you feel like is best for you. I'm here to answer any questions. If you have any, drop them in the comments. Please like, share, subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next video.